Hello, FE911s. I don't know how to say your username without it sounding awkward. Good afternoon. Thanks for being a member. Appreciate you. It's working, man. Whatever you're... I had no choice but to add the one. Yeah, I'm not sure, though, how you say it without it. I'm not sure how you say it with it so it comes off your tongue fluently. You know what I mean? It's like, hello, FE911s, I guess is the best way. I don't know how you say it, man. It just doesn't roll off the tongue. But I appreciate you being a member. It's the same. Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, Tyler fams. How are you? Oh man, this is some upbeat music we got going on here. Hello, Bob Knoll. Dude, long time no see. Also, thank you for still being a member after all this time, man. It's very kind of you. Here, let's there we go. I think that's more our speed. There we go. What's up, Kevin? Ah, sup, dude. Sup, dude. Sup, bro. Actually, nothing much, man. Nothing much. I'm on vacation this week, so my schedule's kind of all over the place, but it's good. It's good. I'm gonna try to make some progress on my I keep having this problem where my microphone, for whatever reason, my computer doesn't want to power it. It only happens once in a while, though. Yo, no comprehendo. Did the mic go? Yeah, it did. I'm on Windows. But now I'm trying to fix the mic. I think it's time for me to just buy a whole new computer. Any excuse to buy another computer. Let's see. It's not showing up. That's super weird. Okay, now it's showing up again. We're having technical difficulties. There we go. That's better. It's back now. What OS? I'm on Windows and I'm on a just an old mini PC. It's a G9, an HP G9. I think they make a tower variety of it, but I have the mini PC version. All right. Maybe we'll get lucky and that will just happen once today. Explains the host name G9. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Now my keyboard doesn't want to connect. Well, maybe I wasn't meant to stream this afternoon. I don't know. Seems like the digital computer gods are working against me. I was upstairs watching Succession on HBO Max, and I thought, man, I should spend my afternoon doing something productive, not just consuming a TV show I've already seen. But now I'm getting the feeling that the universe would prefer I be unproductive. Thought it was a play on G6. No, I'm not that cool. I'm not that cool or that clever to come up with such a name. I just literally take the name of the machine. All right, let's do this. We're just going hardwired. All right. Better than me. I've been on TikTok all day. I was on TikTok too today, so join the club. TikTok is one of the social media platforms that has a stranglehold on me for sure. I think my USB. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Now we're back. Here we go. Look at us. Now we're back. Back in business. Okay, we're actively building something called Chirpy. This is not my idea. This is a boot.dev assigned application. And I think right now we're trying to figure out how to add persistence to the application. Clock it, LOL. Yeah. It's good. Yeah, I think we're gonna use a DB. I think we're gonna use Postgres. Let's see, we'll be using Postgres. Yeah, Postgres. It's production ready, open source SQL database. It's a great choice for many web applications. Might be the single most important database to be familiar with. I don't know about that, but fair enough. See, we already have it installed because we used it in another course. We have already set the password of the Postgres user. That's already done. So let's go ahead and just create a DB. We're going to call it Chirpy. Error, connection to server, role Steven does not. Okay, fine, whatever. PSQL. Oh, PSQL Postgres. Why I keep getting that error? Sudo. There we go. There we go. Now we're in. Now we're cooking. It's so good you almost don't need a caching layer if you set up load balancing. Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like if I had to pick one database to know, or like one database to be familiar with, I personally would pick SQLite. I know that it's not wonderful for multi-user or high concurrency loads, but I just feel like it's so versatile and useful, you know? and it's like basically already there in almost every environment that you exist in. It's just there, you know? Dabu, do you have any ideas for any IoT projects that would look good on a resume for defense contracting? Dabu, that is like such a specific question, and I have no answers for you, and I do apologize because I've never done anything with IoT, nor do I have any experience in defense contracting. So I am coming up with zeros for you, man. I'm sorry. But I wish you all the best of luck with that, with pursuing that. Sounds very interesting. Sounds like it could be highly lucrative. Maybe you'd make some money. Don't know. Bro, the hell, it's so nighttime. It is, or it's 5:16 p.m. for me. I didn't stream this morning, so I'm doing it this afternoon. But I understand you must sleep. So rest well, Gunhighs. Rest well. Thank you for being a member. Appreciate you. Dabu, LOL, all good. Hey, man, I appreciate the specificity of your question. Obviously, you are a man with goals. You know what you want to achieve. I am just not the right human being to help you. Yes, lurk away, Gunhighs. Oh, crap, I forgot to add the unlurk command. Shit, you just used it. Sorry, I forgot to add that. I'll add that real quick. That's my bad. 1 second. Yeah, thanks for being a streamer who doesn't know how to stream. Can't stay on top of my shit. All right, let's see. Add, what do we want to call this? We'll call this deactivate lurker. And we'll call this unlurk. And we're monitoring Twitch and YouTube. Allow all. I think that's correct. Let me just make sure I filled it out the right way. Yep, that looks good. Where'd it go? There it is. Excuse me. I feel like I have to burp. All right, now we need another action. So let's just duplicate this. Deactivate lurker. Deactivate lurker. It would actually be even better if we had like a lurker counter or something that, like, when you lurked, it like increased the counter. The problem is, what if someone goes away from the stream, right, without doing the unlurk command, then the counter just permanently stays pegged. Let's see. Edit this. Edit the trigger. Deactivate lurker. Edit this. Percent user is now no longer lurking. Okay. We're doing it live, folks. We're doing it live. Okay, let's test it real quick. Make sure it works. Oh, you just tested it. I think it works. See you, Gunhighs. Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. Sleep well. Appreciate yous. Cool. Maybe we can make that a little bit more interactive. I think it'd be cool if, like, it was aware, it actually had awareness of, like, who was lurking or not. Am I using Droid Cam for the camera? I am using Droid Cam, but not for my main camera. My main camera is just using a capture card. The Droid Cam is what I use that for, is my coffee camera, which is currently not working. But I just have an old cell phone set up. Let me go fix it. It's a pretty handy little utility, you know. Let's see. Maybe the IP address changed on it. Let me go double check. .211. Yeah, the IP address on the phone changed. Let's see. Deactivate 214. There we go. Yeah, I just use it for that. See, that's just a little remote coffee camera setup. Wonder if I should throw a cam in my fridge for a cold brew. That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be very cool. Yep, an actual coffee cam. And I can summon it by pushing Alt-C. Alt-C summons the coffee camera. Just watch it in the darkness. That's silly. Oh, you know, you could be out and about, you know, and you're like, hold on, I gotta check in on my cold brew, make sure it's doing okay. Not weird at all. Not weird at all. Totally normal. Totally normal. All right, we're gonna create a database here. And let's see, we're gonna connect to Chirpy. Wonderful. I gotta get home. The cold brew, it's in trouble. I gotta run, man. All right, we got our database now. We need to run our checks. There is a new version of the boot dev CLI, so we need to install that. Okay, now we'll rerun. I need to make sure I activate my potion. All right, well, it looks like we're going to use Goose again for the migrations. So let's go ahead and split the terminal right. CD into Chirpy. Let's fire up NeoVim. Okay, we need a new directory SQL schema, and we're gonna declare our first migration is gonna be users.sql. Then we have to do our Goose comments. Goose up, and then Goose down. So we will create table users. We don't know what the definition of that is. And then the down is just dropping users like that. Okay, so what does our users table need to look like? Our users table is going to have an ID column. It is going to be UUID, and it is going to be our primary key. Are you using JavaScript? No, right now we are working a lot primarily in Go. We're doing boot.dev. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Boot.dev is like a learning platform, but it's kind of gamified. It's almost like playing like an RPG type game. It's pretty fun. But right now we're writing SQL, but the language that our server is going to be written in is in Go. This is timestamp. This should be not null. Updated at timestamp, not null. What is your ID? I'm using NeoVim, which is kind of like, if you've never heard of it, it's like a terminal-based editor. It's if you ever heard of like the old school Vim. Vim is greater than Emacs. Yeah. I've never used Emacs, so I don't actually know. And then we want to do constraint. I will die on this hill. That's fair. That's very totally okay to die on that hill. I've never used Emacs, so I don't really have a dog in the fight. But yeah, Rex, as far as the ID, it's Vim or NeoVim. Okay, and this should be unique. Okay, I think that's all they wanted. Okay. Let's go over here, and now we need to try connecting to our database real quick. So let's do SQL, but not Gator. We want the Chirpy database. Chirpy. Looks like we're connected. Should be no relations. Yep, no relations. Okay, so now we need to exit, and we're using this CLI tool. It's called Goose. That's going to handle our migrations for us. So we're going to do Chirpy, tell it what directory we want it to look for the migrations, and then we're going to run the up command. Failed to run SQL migration. I think I have an extra comma. There we go. So now if we reconnect to our database, we should see a migrations table, 2 migrations tables, and our users table, which we do see that. So that's good. Wonderful. Now we can move on. We'll submit our checks. And we pass. Is Goose? I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I don't think it's a library. I think it's just a CLI. I think it's like an actual command line tool. But I think it's written in Go. Because I installed it with I installed it using Go install. So I'm pretty sure it's written in Go. I had never worked with it or heard of it before the last boot.dev course we did. But I think it's a nice way to work with SQL. And I'm sure, I mean, you could use it, I think, in non-Go. I mean, I don't think you need to necessarily be in a Go application or in a Go project to use it. You know, you could use it probably with any application where you're just writing straight up SQL. Although it looks like you can author your migrations in Go files. It's kind of interesting. Oh, interesting. So you can actually have it create the migration file for you. You don't have to hand type it. That's pretty cool. I'll add that to my coder workspace. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I think it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, it's the first. This is only the second time I've ever used it. So take my opinions and thoughts for what they are worth, which is very little. All right, and then we're also using SQL C to generate our, basically to generate our database code. So we already have SQL C installed. Now we just have to configure it. Excuse me. So let's do SQL C.yaml. If it fails me, it's on you. I swear I didn't know. Man, I try to tell people all the time, I'm just a random dude in Kansas who likes to turn on his PC while he's working on his random coding project. So definitely don't make any life decisions based on anything I say. Internal database. Okay, now we can write a query. We'll do queries. We're going to make one called users.sql. And this is going to create a user. So name, create user, one, insert into users, need ID, created at, updated at, and email. And our values, which are all going to be placeholders. And we are going to return what we created. So this will be $1, $2, $3, $4. Yeah, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay, now we go over to this and we go SQL C generate, which we should now have a database internal package over here. So if we go to models, we should see our user. We need to add that as a package. Go install github.com google/uuid. And is it install or add? I think it's Google. I think it's go add, right? Go add. Or is it install? Go get. Date August 6th. This year is because Steven told me. Dude, that would be fucking funny to find in a code base. So kind of like Prisma install. So yeah, I think SQL C is a little, I think it's not quite an ORM like Prisma is. It's just a way to generate, to me, it's much more like just a code generation tool, right? So a way to parse a SQL query and translate that into Go code. So I think it lacks like the full functionality of a true ORM, but saves you from having to handwrite a lot of code, I think. Is it type safe? That's a good question. Probably not. Yeah, probably not. There is the possibility that you could alter the underlying database, and then the types in your Go code would no longer line up with the types in your queries because they're disconnected. You author the SQL file, the SQL query, and then you have to run SQL C generate. But I'm guessing there would be a way you could probably build some tooling, as part of your pipelines to probably to do your best to keep them in sync. But I could see it being an issue if someone forgets to run SQL cgenerate. Fake and Fade. Hello, Fake and Fade. Nice username, sir. Very clever. Okay, go get. We want Google UUID. And we also need to add go get to github.com lib/pq. And then we have to go to our main file. And we have to import underscore github.com/lib/pq. Fake and Fade, thanks. Can you guess where it came from? I cannot. Sounds kind of like Prisma generate with TypeScript. Maybe it is more like, I mean, I've used Prisma in probably 3 projects, so maybe it's more, I don't know. Prisma to me seems much more like an ORM. But maybe they're closer than what I perceive them to be. I'm not an expert. Not an expert. I'm just said, what about EF Core? I like Entity Framework. I know the .NET community has a lot of feelings, man. There are so many feelings about Entity Framework, but I like it. I'm not a hater. Fake and Fade, I cannot guess where your username is from. I have no idea. Also, I'm just JD. Nice to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I forgot what I was doing. Oh, I know what I was doing. We are going to add. We are going to add, instead of this, we are actually going to do one here. And then this we're gonna call some functions. So we're gonna do gen random UUID. And this is gonna be now, I think. Yeah, now. And then we got to go back over here and we got to regenerate this. Which the whole point of that is, so now in our user SQL, we should just require one parameter, and that's the email. Nice. Okay, now we need to add, we're going to add a .env file. We're going to git ignore that. And then it wants us to put our database connection string in there, which is, I mean, honestly, there's nothing secret about this connection string, but so be it. Hey, what's up, Filthy Potato? Nice to see you. Do you like your, oh, dude, I love this mug right here. I will shill for this mug any day, any day. Greatest mug ever. I actually, my mother-in-law, my wife's mom got me a black one like 3 or 4 Christmases ago. It changed my life, man. And then this one I got last year. So now I have 2. I have one on the basement floor and one on the like main floor of our house. It's the best way. If you're a coffee drinker, tea drinker, it's worth the $100 or whatever it is. Yeah, it's worth it, Kevin. And whenever you get the money together and have the extra, I say get it, man. It's well worth it. Do I have any big side projects planned? Not really. I have the ongoing term chat, which is what I'm using on stream right now. I've been building that. That's been a ton of fun to work on. Termato, I built that Pomodoro timer. I think the largest project that's still kind of on my plate, but it's moving at a very slow burn, is I started working on this personal finance app that uses Plaid to connect to my bank accounts. And I haven't put any more time into it, but I would love to work on it more. If you played World of Warcraft, if you played World of Warcraft, I could tell you. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not a big World of Warcraft player. Looks like a fun game though. I just have never played it. Why not git ignore generated code as part of the CI/CD pipeline or a Docker file to have it generated? You could do that, I think. I'm not real familiar with how people use SQL C like in big, complicated production level projects, but that I could see that making sense. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the trade-offs would be having it generated as part of your build pipeline or not. But I could see it being useful, you know, if you wanted to really make sure that whatever code that your application is using actually reflects what the SQL queries are that you've written. You'd probably just want to make sure you actually build and test your code subsequently in the pipeline. Probably a good idea. Is that the coffee protein drink? I'm legit drinking one right now. Yes, this is also another product that I will happily shill any day of the week. I've drank a lot of protein shakes in my life, like a lot, like probably too many. And this is by far the best tasting one I've ever had. It's made by Premier Protein and the flavor is called Cafe Latte. And whenever they change the formula or discontinue it, I'll be very sad. There's only one other protein that I've had that tastes better than this, and that has since been discontinued. It was a mango flavored whey protein isolate that was made by a company named Forever Fit, but it has since been discontinued, unfortunately. Your budget app wasn't called Per Diem, was it? No, I called my budget app Physical OS. Because the idea was it's supposed to be like kind of the operating system for my family's financial life, and I have the guts of it working. Like I actually have it deployed in production, and it's syncing transactions from my bank account into a SQLite database on one of my servers. So it's like the guts of it are working. I just haven't gone back to like add all the like the aggregations, the visualizations to be able to categorize things. Like I just haven't revisited it. I kind of stalled out because I got a little bothered by everybody always showing up in my streams when I was working on it and saying like, well, you could just have AI do this. Why don't you just use AI to do this? And so then I got a little bit like, then I was kind of like, I don't know, fuck you guys. I don't want to use AI. I just want to build this myself. So I stopped working on it on stream. And then because I stopped working on it on stream, I kind of fell off working on it altogether. But eventually I'll get back to it. How'd you set up the sync? So the sync works with Plaid is the financial provider. So there's kind of there's like 2 or 3 big companies that do that type of functionality. Plaid is one. And then there's another one. I forget the name of it. So I don't know why. I think I chose Plaid because that's who Mint.com used. So I think that's originally how I found Plaid. And then what are the other? There's like 2 or 3 alternatives to that. It's not super expensive though. It's 30 cents per connected account, right? So, or I should say that 30 cents per connected institution. So let's say you have bank accounts at Capital One and you have bank accounts at Vanguard. You could establish a connection to Vanguard and a connection to Capital One, and if you had 25 accounts here and 25 accounts here, it's still just 30 cents, 30 cents. And you basically listen for events or webhooks from Plaid, and then based on the webhook content, you sync the data over, perform different actions. You can sync on demand. Like you can, if you want to add a button to your application to where it, refreshes manually, that's an additional charge. Like they charge you per like ad hoc sync beyond the 30 cents. So I don't really need to be able to like on demand refresh the data, right? I can just do it passively. So it's pretty inexpensive. I'm currently using YNAB is the app that I currently use to do a lot of budgeting and financial transactions. I used to use mint.com, and then mint.com said, "See ya, we're out of here." So then I moved over to YNAB, and YNAB is $15 a month. So my goal was, when I originally started that project, was can I build something that's less complicated than YNAB and cost me less money, right? But still like does all the things I want it to do. Categorize transactions, track my net worth, and that's generally it, basically. Maybe have some pretty charts, right? But yes, that is that's how I did it with plaid.com. Yeah, I think I answered your let's see, didn't know you could use. Yeah, you can use Plaid. It is a little bit involved. Like you have to sign up for a developer account, and they make you fill out a little bit of an application to explain like what you're going to do with their service, kind of like a KYC thing, which is nice. I think they probably have to do that for money laundering compliance, I would guess. So it's a little bit more involved, but you can do it. Yeah, I've heard of SimpleFin. Somebody actually recommended that to me. I think when I looked at it, it didn't support all of the financial institutions that I bank at. Because they support 2, don't they? They support Go Cardless. Oh, I guess they support a bunch. So yeah, it's SimpleFin. This one didn't have some of my institutions when I looked at it. Yeah, I think Capital One is Vanguard on their list. They do support Vanguard, but I think I chose Plaid because I know Plaid supports all of the places I bank at. And I think at the end of the day, it will cost me $1.50. So I think I have five different banks that I need to connect, 5 or 6 different banks I need to connect. But technically, for $15, like I pay YNAB $15 a month. So $15 a month so 15 divided by 30 cents, right? That means I can connect 50 institutions to my own application and still be like in the same neighborhood, right? As far as costs go. And I don't have 15. I don't bank at 50 different institutions. So I think once I get the application built and functional, it will be a cost savings. I just have to sit down and build it. Does that limit API calls? No, it's just because it's all, it's under, so basically the way their products work is each of their, I guess, APIs counts as counts as a different, what do you call it? Each of their products is isolated as a different, each of their APIs is isolated as a different product, and each product has its own billing associated with it. And so when you sign up for an account, let me see if I can find it real quick, because I think I can show you the pricing for it. Sorry, my wife is texting me. Hey, I'm decent in TS, but I want to learn Golang. Can you suggest a roadmap, please? I don't have a roadmap to suggest, but I have some resources that you could... Sorry, my wife was texting me. I have some resources I could recommend. I don't have a roadmap, though. So last fall, we learned Golang on stream, and the two resources I used to learn was Tour of Go, which I think is a part of the official Go docs. So Tour of Go, oh my god, it's so bright. And then the other one, which was probably, I think, the better of the two, was Learn Go with Tess. And this is a book written by a guy named Chris James. And it is also very good. So I'll pop these links. I'll put these links in the chat for you there. What was your name? Rith. Whoops. Yes. I'm not following the timer right now. I know. Let's see. YouTube at... Yeah, check this out. And then also check out... What was the other one? Yeah, Learn Go with Tess. These are what I used to learn Go. So I will vouch for them. Good things. SimpleFin Bridge is like $150 a month. That's not bad at all. It's just I'm not gonna, I want to use one provider for, you know what I mean? I don't want to have to like use SimpleFin for some institutions and then Plaid for other institutions, right? I just want one financial provider that I can get all my data from. When you think about it, though, I will say this. When you think about it, it's pretty crazy that I can't programmatically access my own banking data. I think it's kind of, it's kind of wild. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to pay another company to access my own. Like, I feel like my banks should provide some programmatic access to it. But that's just me. Maybe that's, I guess Chase has a free AP. Oh, I didn't know that. I have a Chase credit card or two. But I did not know that. Anywho, that's my big side project. That's my big whenever I get back around to it. All right, and then we need to add a library to load env files. Also, I realize I like completely talked through the whole first working session of the Pomodoro, so I realize that it's kind of dumb. Okay, now we need to update our main file. And where we can make the connection to our database. Where are we? There we go. Okay. So where's my server? My server definition is up here. So we are going to add a new field here. This is called, let's call this database. And this is going to be typed pointer to database.queries. And then back in our main, we want to, first and foremost, we want to load the environment variable. So we'll do db URL, get env, and we want the database URL, db. And if there's an error, we will os.exit, we'll just exit one, and we'll log some stuff. We'll say failed to connect database. And then we just need to pass this, what to say, database equals db database new db. Okay, now we have database access. Wonderful. Oh, it wants us to disable SSL mode equals disable. Now we'll run our check. Wonderful. Why do we care about whether data is stored in memory or on disk? Data on disk is lost when the server is restarted. Nope. 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 Yeah, data in memory is lost when the server is started. Data on disk persists. That's why we care. Why should an HTTP handler pass request.context to a database query? So the database work can be canceled if the HTTP request is canceled. Wonderful. All right, we're going to add an endpoint to create a user. So let's do that. mux.handlefunc should be a post because it is state changing. We're going to put it under api.users. We'll add a method called server.handle create user. which we don't have yet. Okay, and then we just need to create that function. So this is going to be func with the receiver type of server. It is going to be called handle create user. It's going to have a writer, which is an http.response writer, and then a pointer to a http.request. That. Okay. Now the request, we expect that to be in a particular shape. So let's go up. Let's add a, I don't know, maybe these should be located actually closer to the handler function. That might make more sense. Let's put them right here. Oops. And then we can put our other ones close to the handler here too. So we'll do type create user request is struct, and it should have an email, which is a string, and it has some JSON. Then we'll do type create user response struct, and this will have ID, created at, updated at, and an email. So it'll basically be a database user, but we'll have a separate DTO to respond with. So we'll do ID, and we will do created at, oops, that's malformed. Created. Oh, nope, they want underscore. They want snake case. Good old snake case. I'm actually kind of a believer in snake case now. I've written enough Rust recently that it kind of, enough Python and Rust recently that I've kind of come around to that snake case might be the right case. For a long time, I was kind of convinced camel case was the right case, but I think I've been converted. I mean, I'm happy to adopt whatever the language uses, but I'm a believer now. What can I say? All right, let's do var create user request is request. Just create user request, and then we are going to decode that, right? So we want to do air equals JSON dot new decoder. We pass in r dot body, and we also need to defer r dot body dot close. And this will actually be decode, and we'll pass in a reference to our request. And if there's an error, then we will most definitely return an error. Dude, Plaid is low-key sick. Yeah, it's a really great service. I mean, it's not... I forgot. I was going to tell you what my... what my billing was. See if I can get logged in here. But yeah, it's a good service. Yeah. Got that MFA. Got that MFA. I gotta. And I think you can probably get better pricing the bigger, the bigger a customer you are, right? You can probably get better pricing, but I think it's pretty reasonable for a single, for a single person, right? 30 cents to do a sync. To me, that's not That's not crazy, in my opinion. Let's see if I can find, there's a page on here somewhere where it has my billing. There we go, billing. Yeah. So here is, so they have a couple different products. I have to use 2 of the products. I have to use their investments and their transactions, I think. So you can kind of see here. Let me do Alt-Shift-D. So this is their transactions API, which is probably the main one you use. Now, this is what I was talking about a second ago, where you can have your individual recurring transactions right here. So that's 30 cents per connected account per month, right? So if you connect to Capital One, that's 30 cents. You connect to Vanguard, that's 30 cents, right? This is the per successful. So this is the ad hoc, right? So this is if you're forcing a refresh, you're going to pay for each refresh 12 cents, which is kind of a lot for a single refresh. So I think that's why you're better off not doing manual refreshes. You're better off just listening for whenever Plaid lets you know, hey, there's new transactions available. Go ahead and pull them. So that's what I've implemented to date. And then obviously there's a separate product if you want to get investment related data, right? Because there's some different data structures for investment accounts versus, you know, your regular bank accounts. But I think it's fair. I think I've paid a total of, what is that? 90. I had 3 connect. I paid 90 here because I was doing tests and I accidentally connected something 3 times over. But I probably, let's see, I paid, what is that, $1.80? 30, yeah, $1.80 so far. So I just need to finish getting it all completed and functional. And then I can make the migration off of YNAB. It's not WebSocket based. It'll be webhook. So you register a webhook in their dashboard, and then they know where to send the events. And then I just have a metric in Seek that basically tells me how many times I've processed one. Or if hey, I'm learning Golang right now by making a game, but I'm confused on interfaces / type asserting from them. Do you have any sources that could help learn this stuff? Not anything particular for interfaces or type assertions. Type assertions aren't, I mean, basically all type assertion is doing is just like if you're if you're familiar with TypeScript or, pattern matching in other languages, you're basically just saying, try to cast it to this type, and if it is that type, now I can access the properties on that type. Interfaces in Go is more about like, for example, in Go, nothing has to declare that it implements something. It's all just structural type based. So if an interface declares that it has a method called string, you don't have to define a struct and say, hey, this struct implements that interface. It just has to have a string method on it and it satisfies the interface, right? So it's a little different than something like C#, where if you want to type to be usable as a particular interface, you actually have to explicitly say, I don't know, greeter implements iGreeter, right? Or something like that. But Go doesn't require that. Go's more like TypeScript, where it's more about does it satisfy the shape of the thing that we've declared it to be. But I don't have any dedicated smart resources for you on learning it better. Learn Go, I still think Learn Go with tests, I still think is the best resource I've seen on learning Go myself. Obviously, I'm biased because it's one of the ones I used to learn, but I still think it's really, really good. Yeah, so I just have this guy right here. So I use a seek metric to keep track of how many syncs or how many webhooks I've received from Plaid and how many have been processed successfully versus how many haven't been processed. And that's how I keep an eye on it. But it's working. I mean, I can log in and see the transaction data in that production deployment I have. It doesn't have any other functionality besides just displaying all the transactions, so it's not particularly useful at the moment. How long did it take you to go through Learn Go with Tess? Well, I don't want to lie. I don't really remember. If I would say it's probably a month or so. We did it all on stream. So if we really wanted to be super specific, we could probably look at, I put it in a playlist too. Let's see. Yeah, Learning Go. Let's see. This looks like it's 31 videos. So part of it was date published oldest. Yeah. So part of it would have been Tour of Go. And then part of it was Learn Go with Test. So maybe here's where I started. This would have been the 5th video. And so roughly 30 days. Roughly 30. But obviously I was doing that on stream. So I was talking a lot and chatting a lot. We weren't always just doing Go stuff. Some of this stuff though isn't. Why is some of this on here? Well, I guess this all was a part of Learning Go, but it was good. It was a good resource. Yeah, it was a good resource. Highly recommend. Would do again. Kevin, that's sick. Yeah, of course, man. Yeah. Yeah, maybe you can put Plaid to use too in your own application. One issue I had with Tour of Go, I keep forgetting stuff after watching tutorials. Do you just play around with a certain topic it teaches until it fully clicks before moving on to the next topic? Yeah, I just do the curriculum, kind of like with boot.dev. I just do what they tell me to do. And I definitely don't retain 100% of the information. I don't think anyone ever retains 100% of everything they study. I think you're always going to have to reference and look things up to some extent. I think you just kind of have to accept that's the nature of this type of work, right? The things you use the most often, the things that you use the most frequent, those things stick and don't require you to reference them all the time. But for example, like I've been writing a lot of Go recently, haven't been writing a lot of Python. So if I switch from Go to Python, it's going to take me a little bit to like get back up to like second nature, right, in Python. So I think that's just the nature of the beast. I think it's one of those things where the specific knowledge you have about a programming language is very use it or lose it, in my opinion. Or maybe not lose it, but it decays. Like there's this decaying effect that happens when you stop using a language. And I don't know if there's a way to solve that. I mean, maybe there's super smart people that are like, have crazy good memories that don't have that problem. But for me, it's just the nature of the beast. It always comes back pretty quickly, but the more you use it, the more you remember it. The less you use it, the less I remember it, in my case. I'm sure somebody out there's saying that's a skill issue, and it might very well be. And I'm okay with that. I can live with that. Yeah, that makes sense. Of course, man. Yeah. What's up, Delusional Dev? How have you been, bro? I've been good. Yeah, I've been good. No complaints here. No complaints here at all. Let's see, validation error. We'll say the error is unable to deserialize JSON. And then if we get past this, we should probably make sure that the email is populated. We should probably make sure it's an email too, but let's just make sure it's not empty. So we'll do if strings dot trim space off of, we'll do trimmed email. We'll do strings dot trim space. This would be create user. So if trimmed email equals that, then we know we have a problem. So we'll say write header dot status bad request. And then we will write the JSON response. And we'll say, hey, email is required, must be valid email address. Although I'm not checking to see if it's actually a valid email address. And then we need to respond. Or actually, no, we need to create a user. So created user error equals s.database.create user. This is going to take the request context and the email. So we'll just do trimmed email. And if there's an error, we should probably just do like an internal server response. We'll say internal server, and then we'll say uh-oh, we were unable to create a new user. Probably should log the error somewhere too. If we are able to create the user, then we can write our JSON response, which will be created user response. And this is just going to be a very boring mapping, but we'll do created user dot ID. We will do created at equals created user dot created at. Oh. So I need to convert that to a string, huh? Format returns a textual representation of the time value format. What's the NeoVim autocomplete plugin you have? For me, when I write Go in LazyVim, it doesn't really show the autocompletes for a lot of the functions. For example, I don't know why that would be for you, Rafa. I use for the snippet completion stuff, I use a plugin called LuaSnip. And then I just use the Go language server on top of that. So LuaSnip, I think, is what powers all the menus that you see. And then I think MVim LSP, or the language server protocol, is what gives me all the IntelliSense. And then, Rafa, I will say, if you want to see my exact setup, you can go to... I think it's NeoVim is the command. There you go. That link will take you to my NeoVim configurations if you're curious, if you want to dig into it. But I'm pretty sure it's LuaSnip does the menus for the snippet completions, and then the language server, the Go language server, is what provides all the completions. Yeah, of course. Yeah, always happy to try to point you in the right direction. Hey, what's up, Big Blue Heron? Good to see you. Well met. Yes, I'm doing good. How are you doing? Okay, so I'm gonna do format, and then I think there's pre-built time dot. Yeah, there's pre-built ones. I don't know which one I want. RFC 3399. Oh, I'm on break. I don't even. I can take a break. I like your interface. Oh, thank you very much. Some of it I built, some of it I didn't. The bottom, this system monitor thing in the center, that I did not build. That's called bottom. It's a system monitor tool that somebody else built. But term chat and the Pomodoro timer I built, and then the editor I'm using is NeoVim. Is the editor I'm using. But thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's fun to live in the terminal. I've become much more of a terminal user over the last 18 months. Whenever I switched from using VS Code as my primary editor to using NeoVim as my primary editor, then I started tinkering with more terminal-related, TUI-related things, which has been fun. It's been a fun side quest that has sort of like... It started off as a side quest, and now it's sort of become the main quest. I'm in browser hell for my job. Oh, that sounds terrible. Specifically because of a sudden request to cut runtime usage by like 70%. That doesn't sound fun. That doesn't sound fun at all, man. Well, Godspeed. May the odds be ever in your favor. How about the terminal where you have the main branch in there? This one. This one? Yeah, this is NeoVim on the left. And then the right side is just a split terminal pane. And I'm just on Windows, and I'm just using Windows Terminal to do the different panes and stuff. And this is WSL. I don't normally develop in WSL, but I'm doing boot.dev, and every one of their courses on the front page of the course says, if you're a Windows user and you try to do this without WSL, we basically think you're going to have a shitty time. I mean, I'm sure I could make it work, but I'm heeding their warning. Yeah, I wish I had Weesol. Good to see you, Sam. Hope you're doing well. I wish I had more to offer you, Big Blue Heron. I wish I wasn't just like, yeah, good luck with that, man, but I don't have any advice to offer you. Other than hang in there, hold on. Life's a roller coaster. Goat trophy. Okay, protein shake has been drank. I don't know what that is. Enjoy. It's just a protein shake. It's good. That's probably the best protein shake I think that's out there right now in terms of flavor. All right, what is RFC 3339 format? Okay, time to work. Which course are you doing on boot.dev? We're doing all of them. My goal right now is just to get to level 100. So we are currently on, I think this one is called Learn HTTP Servers. That's the one we're on right now. But we've done basic, I think we've done 14. We've done 17 courses so far. So we're on our 18th course. And I'm currently at level... What level am I? I think I'm 83. Yeah, level 83. So the goal is to get to level 100 so we can get our Archmage rank and get our coin. They mail you, I think, a letter and a coin once you reach that level. It's been good, though. Yeah, it's been good. Okay, we'll use that. That's the format we'll use. Good enough. No, the GOAT trophy, it's a YouTube gift thing. Oh, I love it. I love it. Send all the gifts. Send as many gifts as you'd like. And then let's see, we got one more email. Okay. It also says it wants me to update the reset endpoint to delete all users in the database, but don't mess with the schema. You'll need a new SQL C query for this. Add a new value to your .env file called platform. Set it equal to dev. Read it into your API config. If platform is not equal to dev, this endpoint should return 403 forbidden. This is the most hacky way to reset a database through an API endpoint, but this is fine. We can do that. We'll set it to dev. Okay. Later stream. Yes, later stream today. I'm on vacation this week, so which is weird because I did go into I went into the office today because my work laptop died. Super random. It just died. I have no idea what's wrong with it. So I had to go into the office to get it replaced. But I'm technically on vacation today, or all this week. So my schedule's kind of been all over the place. Which has been good. It's been good to just take a break, you know? This is the third week I've taken off. I took off a week in June, a week in July, and a week in August. This is going to be platform. And we'll set this equal to take a break. He says streaming and coding. Well, to me, this is fun, you know? It's fun. It's just, we're having ourselves a good time, right? So we'll do platform. Playing boot.dev is kind of taken the spot of playing video games for me lately, so it's been good. I've enjoyed it. Figured out the algorithm thing. NeoVimX account tweeted my video. I saw that too. Yeah, I tried to tag you in our Discord server because I saw that too on X. But it's pretty cool, man. I mean, that's pretty sweet that your video got attention from like the people that make the thing you made the video about, right? Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It just goes to show, like, kind of like what I said in my comment on your video, like, good content's good content, right? Regardless of what anyone thinks. And I really enjoyed how you kind of stripped NeoVim down and demystify. Because, like, if you go out there and you take down, like, LazyVim as a distro for your NeoVim setup, I mean, and you start digging through the config files, it's kind of scary. You know, I was like, oh my God, I got to know all this stuff to make NeoVim work nicely. And your video is great because it kind of demystifies that, right? It's like, actually, you can get a pretty good experience without a ton of effort, right? Which I really enjoyed. I thought it was good. So thank you for making it, and thank you for sharing it with everybody. I know making stuff and putting it out into the world is actually kind of takes a little bit of courage in today's world. Okay, to distinguish between an empty value. Okay, so if this will be empty. So we will say if platform is not set, we're gonna set it just in case. So the default will be dev, just in case. Oh, actually, no, I take that back, because we'll just check for dev. We'll just check for dev in the endpoint. You stripping out any of your plugins now? Then I probably won't be tinkering at all with my NeoVim setup, because I feel like every time I go in there and tinker with it, I waste way too much time on it. But I do think it would be cool to have a version of it that's kind of like what you showed, like a minimal setup would kind of be interesting to have alongside it. Very relatable. Yeah. Dude, it's just too easy to sit there and lose hours of your day screwing with NeoVim. Hey, what's up, Kajani? It's 2:30 a.m. here. I have a super specific question. Well, I hope you're doing well. It's been a minute since I seen you. Why the heck you up at 2:30? You should be asleep. But yeah, I'm always happy to get super specific questions. Yeah, it's a rabbit hole. I mean, it's fun if that's like what you're in the space to do. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's actually kind of fun to sit there and tinker with your setup. It's frustrating if that wasn't what you sat down at the computer to do. That's when it's frustrating. Like, I didn't sit down at the computer to actually spend the whole time fucking with the NeoVim configs. All right, so we'll add a check here that says if server.platform equals dev, then we're gonna call database.delete all users. We don't have that yet, so we'll need to create that. Oh, it actually wants us to do this the opposite way. It wants us to say if s.platform does not equal dev, wants us to return. And we will say w right header HTTP status code status forbidden. Yeah. Now we got to write the delete all users query. So this will be name delete all users. And this will just be delete from users. That. Hey, what's up, Gravity Wolf? Good to see you, brother. Hope you had a good day. I did have a good day. How are you doing? Thanks for showing up on Twitch. Twitch has been pretty quiet these days, but appreciate you holding it down over there. Kajani, I'd hate to fiddle with, say, Python to scrape that info off the site. So much work. Hold on, sorry, I missed your question. Sam, what is your X handle? My X handle is, let me look it up. I think it's just Stephen Freeborn. Well, Is x.com not working? I can't seem to sign in on it. I think I'm signed in on my... Oh, crap. I don't have X on my phone anymore. I took it off. I'm pretty sure it's Steven.freeborn or Steven_freeborn or something like that. Dude, why is X's website not working? Huh. It won't let me log in. Super weird. Sign-in was broken for me. Also had to go on mobile for some reason. Nice. Yeah, okay, so then it's not me. There's not something wrong with me. Like, if you go to x.com and you're signed out, none of their sign-in buttons work. Yeah, I have no... Well, that's wonderful. Okay, it's not me. Huh. Weird. Oh, Gravity Wolf, thank you for looking up my ex. I appreciate you doing that. I'm pretty sure I was pretty sure that's what it was, but I can't remember. Claude, fix, please. Yes, Claude, fix buttons. Make buttons not disabled. Sorry, Kajani. Let me get back to your question. I'm sorry, I got distracted. So, say I have a card collection and I want to track the price of my collection. And I get the price of a card, put it into an Excel spreadsheet. Is there a way to get the live price to update from there? I think it would all depend on where you're getting the pricing. Because if the pricing is not available programmatically, I would say it's not likely. If the pricing is available programmatically, I would think you'd be able to write a little app script, which is kind of like Google Sheets it's JavaScript, but it's Google Sheets flavor of JavaScript that you can use to write like custom functionality into your sheet. I would think you'd be able to write an app script to go and fetch that price data if it is available programmatically. If it's not available programmatically, then yeah, I think you'd have to fall back to a little bit of Playwright, Puppeteer, browserless, type of scraping, which is never any fun because it's always very brittle. Programmatically, whatever did you say? I just basically mean is the place where you get your price data, do they have an API that you can use? Right? Can you make a headless API request to some platform to get that price data? That's what I mean. Good night, Sam. Sleep well, man. Good to see you. But yeah, if it's not available that way, you'd have to scrape. Trust. I have applications scraping data that isn't available as an API to then expose my findings as an API. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how Plaid.com started. When Plaid started offering their financial data services, a lot of banks did not have programmatic access, and so they just would log into people's accounts and scrape the financial data off websites, off the like web user interface. So it's definitely a thing, but in my opinion, it's never fun to do because the scraping is always brittle and you always have to update it. And if they change selectors or locators or the structure of the page, then you got to modify your code. Yeah. I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan of scraping. Although I love writing Playwright. Like I love using Playwright for, end-to-end tests. It's just, when you're talking about reliably and repeatedly doing something, is not the most fun way to do it. Evening. Yes. Hey, Kale. How are you? I guess for you, it's probably morning, right? It's like you're like in the middle of your day, something like that. We're on opposite sides of the world. That's why I like some of the public government data that comes out quarterly. It's all PDF and CSV data. So CSV data would be lovely to be able to like go to a website, you know, especially if you don't have to deal with any type of authentication, right? It's just like publicly available in a CSV or some sort of structured data format. Yeah, that'd be great. But like the scraping that I don't like is when you're trying to extract structured data from an unstructured web page, right? Data that's embedded in a web page, right? Maybe it's embedded in a table, maybe it's not, but it's a bunch of div soup and you're trying to parse out the thing you want from it. Yeah, that's a nightmare. No, thank you. Got gastro, no bueno, off work, bedridden past 2 days. Oh, dude, I'm sorry to hear that. That's awful. Yeah, that's awful. Being sick sucks. It's the worst. No, thank you. Get out of here with that. Okay, I think I generated the right yeah, I did. Okay. I think I did it right. So let's go ahead and split down. Yeah, split down. Dude, I'm in the weeds now, just about have Plaid implemented into my app I was working on. That's awesome, dude. Fantastic. Yeah, wonderful. I can't pass it intercontinentally. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Although I think it's that's absolutely the worst. It's the worst type of sickness to get, in my opinion. Stomach flu is the worst. Well, I mean, I've got some 3,000 plus MTG cards, and I want to yell at the screen when my collection's price goes down by $1, like a stock trader in the 90s. I don't know enough about the collector space to know if there's... I would be surprised to find out that data isn't available through some API. Probably you have to pay for it, right? But then I'm guessing you probably can scrape it from somewhere. Scraping it probably violates the terms of service of the site where the data lives, but that doesn't seem to stop people from doing it. Yes, your girlfriend is definitely, she should be quarantined. She should quarantine you in your home lab is what she should do. All right, let's go ahead and run the server. So we'll do watch, run. Now we'll run our checks. All right, it failed. Create user, that seemed to succeed. But the reset failed. Expecting 200, response status code 403. So if s.platform does not equal dev, then we respond with 403. But I thought... I wonder if I never passed it. No, should be there. Huh. Okay, let's try again. Okay, why are you failing? Let's log something out here. I might have caught that through the chat. I drank a can of 7-Up and I don't feel too good. Well, fortunately for us, that it doesn't work that way, you know? Fortunately, it doesn't work that way. Let's do log dot print f, and we'll do platform set to. There's been a crate. I mean, talk about gastro issues. The U.S. has had this horrible There's been a bunch of cases here where I live. I forget the name of the parasite. It's some parasite that's causing people to have horrible stomach issues. Some Rick and Morty intergalaxy cable type sickness. Yeah, no thank you. Please none of that, right? No thank you. All right, it says platform set to nothing. Okay. So why is platform set to nothing? Am I not loading? I must not be loading the environment variables. Oh. I have to call go.env.load. And this will return an error if it fails. So we should do if error does not equal nil, log.fatal, failed to load environment variables. And then we can OS exit 1 again. Okay, I think this will work now. All right, we got further. Expected status code 201. Yeah, I missed that in my implementation. So we should be doing 201. W right header http.status created. Success. The reason I'm awake is I'm finally after forever getting a car. I'll go check it out tomorrow. Nice, dude. Congratulations. Yes, Kale, that is exactly what I was talking about. Cyclosporasis. Yes, that's exactly what I was talking about. There's 2 dead? I had not heard that. I had heard about all the hospitalizations, but I didn't realize people had died from it. That's awful. Kajani, when do we get Steven merch? Can I print my own because it takes 6 months and a shit ton in processing fees to get it here? Well, I do have a store. If you go to store, I think it's store or shop.stevenfreeborn.com. It's using Fourth Wall. Just a bunch of t-shirts. I just made like t-shirts for myself, really, but I made them through Fourth Wall. So I created a store out of what I've made. But yeah, if you guys have any other ideas for merch, we can definitely make it. Links in bio. Yeah, there you go. Links.stevenfreeborn.com. I think the shop link's in there. But it's just random t-shirts I made. Nothing fancy. I'm not a designer. I wish I was more artistic. I wish I had better design abilities. Okay, now we need a way to create some chirps. we're gonna create some chirps. Steven branded underwear. I think they do have that. I think they have I don't know if I would ever make that, but I think if you wanted to make your own underwear, I think Fourth Wall has, I mean, Fourth Wall seems to have everything in their product catalog. They even have custom plushies that you can make. Let's see, underwear. Maybe they don't have underwear. Maybe that's where they draw the line. But they have everything else. They have all different kinds of t-shirts. My son and I were looking at these custom plushie, I think. Yeah. So you can literally make your own. Although they're kind of expensive, I think you actually have to pay. You have to order a minimum of 300, but you also have to pay for like R&D samples, and it's a pretty involved process to make it. I think it's kind of cool that anybody can just go and make their own stuff. If you have an idea for something, you know, and you can design it. It's a pretty cool service. They turned me into a commercially available plushie. Yeah. I would totally make a Coffee Goblin plushie if I could afford it. I would totally make one. I'm not going to buy 300 of them just so I can have one. Super artistic. Yeah, not me. But I'm jealous of people. I'm jealous of people who can dance really well, and I'm jealous of people who can draw and paint really well. All right, we gotta create some new tables here. I can't draw, but I do music. Yeah, see, music would be good too. Graffiti. Yeah, that's a cool kind of art. Can't do any of that stuff. I mean, it's also fair to say that I can't do any of it because I've never tried or practiced it, which is what I tell my kids. I wanted to try to use Goose. Let's see, Goose help. So we can use Goose, create. So let's do Goose, create 02_chirps SQL. Okay, where did it put it though? I don't see it. Oh, it created it in the root of my, I'm in the wrong place. Remove that. Okay, so we do Goose, create, but it put it in the wrong place. I don't want it there. I want it to be Goose. Maybe I have to do dir SQL schema. Yeah, I have to tell it where to put it. I also don't need the timestamp though. Okay. It's interesting. I don't think it's that helpful though. It doesn't really scaffold much. It doesn't save that amount of time. Not that you can't, just haven't. That's a great way to look at it. That's 100% the case too. I've tried music, but honestly, every beat I made started sounding so bad, we started making them bad on purpose. I'm proud of myself for sampling a lawnmower, though. Just lean in. Just lean in. If it sucks, just lean into the suck. Why did the human body evolve into getting pain receptors in its stomach for not even eating something badly? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, pain is good, right? Because pain means you're alive, but... yeah, it sucks. It's the worst. It's the worst. No fun at all. Okay, we're gonna need all of the standard stuff. And then we also need body. It's gonna be text. And it's gonna be not null. And then we need user ID, which is gonna be UUID, not null. And then we have to provide a foreign key constraint. Okay. So constraint. Well, I guess I don't have to name it, do I? I can just do foreign. There we go. Foreign key is going to be user ID. And it references users, specifically the ID. And then we will do on.
Did we just become
delete.
best friends?
Hey, thanks for the follow, man. Burke Dev. Appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Okay. I think that's what we want. Now let's go ahead and do Goose. I want the Goose command. Oh, yeah. All right. And that looks like it succeeded. Now we need to add our queries. So we'll do chirps.sql. Honestly, depending on how expensive the plushies are, 299 Steven plushies behind you on the wall would be a sick background. That or it'd be a little odd. That or it'd be a little odd. You'd be like, why is this grown-ass man have so many fucking plushies in his house? And why do they all look like him? What the fuck is wrong with this guy? All right. Create chirp. So we basically want the same set of things. That looks right. ID, created at, updated at, email. Email's not right. Chirp is going to have a body and a user ID. So this will be 1 and this will be 2. And let's just make sure that's it. Body, user ID, the rest are going to be automatically populated. So let's go ahead and create that. SQL C generate, no column body. What? What say you? Oh, that's because it's the users table. My bad. Oh, chirps. This should be chirps. Chirps. Why does that keep? Oh. All right. Now we have our chirp SQL. We have our models. It's good. So we just need to what do we need to do? We just need to go into our main.go and we need to add a create chirps maybe. We'll do a mux.handlefunc host API chirps server.handle create chirp. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Thanks for stopping back by, man. Appreciate it. Wow, is it really 7 o'clock? And that went fast. That went fast. All right, so we're gonna repurpose. We're gonna get rid of the validate chirp. And we're just gonna convert it to the create chirp. Excuse me. So let's do handle create chirp. Renaming handle chirp validation not possible because main go has errors. Okay, that's not helpful. Handle create chirp. This Plaid thing is a rabbit hole? Yes, it is a rabbit hole. Yeah. I mean, anytime you're dealing with a provider like that, there's a lot of complexity involved, but like I said, them and there's only like 2 or 3 people or companies that provide that service. And so you're just kind of, I mean, you got to pick one. The code I wrote for the one I built is on my GitHub. It's called Physical OS. I tried to write mine so that I wasn't coupled tightly to Plaid, so that if I wanted to swap out for another provider, I have the ability to. But honestly, there's not very many other people that will do that service. So it just kind of is what it is. Like I said, I still think it's crazy that you can't just get your financial data. Like you should just you shouldn't have to scrape your bank statements or log into your bank accounts and scrape that data. The bank should just provide it through an API. Okay, now I'm going to rename this. I'm going to rename this to create chirp request. I'm going to rename this to create chirp response. Validation errors, fine. Cleaned body. If creating the record goes well, okay, so we're gonna rename this to body. I missed something. What about APIs and banks? Well, Kevin and I were having a conversation like 30 minutes ago or 45 minutes ago about actually, I don't think it was Kevin that started it. It was somebody else. Somebody else came into chat and asked me if I had any larger side projects planned. And then I got to talking about this personal finance app that I had started to build, which led us to talk about this company called Plaid, who provides the ability to programmatically get your financial data. And then Kevin got interested in Plaid, and it sounds like he went off and just already did the implementation of it in his own application. But what we were talking about previously was the fact that it seems kind of crazy that you have your financial data through these banks, but you can't get that financial data programmatically unless you pay another company to provide it to you, which is kind of crazy, right? Like it's crazy that Capital One doesn't just have an API that I can say, hey, give me all my transactions for the last 30 days or whatever. That's kind of crazy that that's not a thing. Steven, if I happen to be in America any day of my life, am I allowed to stop for coffee? Sure. If you want to come to Kansas, it's kind of hot here. There's not super great weather. There's not much to see. But yeah, if you want to come to the Midwest, I'll happily take you to get a cup of coffee. It's probably more likely though that I visit. It's Finland, right, Kajani? You're in Finland. It's more likely I visit you than you visit Kansas. Same with me and my card stuff, but I think I found some API that should maybe exist. I'll bet, if I had to guess, I bet the EU has laws about that, right? Does EU require banks to provide access to financial data via API? What's this say? Open banking in 2026. What is open banking? The EU's Payment Services Directive took effect in January 18, requiring all EU banks to provide API access to licensed third parties. Oh. Which is that's probably like a Plaid, right? It's somebody like that. I mean, I kind of understand why you don't want to just provide public open access, but at the same time, I also don't like if a customer can use their credentials to log into a website and look at their financial data using a username and a password, to me, it should also be okay to trust that customer to use an API, right? That's protected through OAuth or even an API key to get that same data. To me, I just don't understand why that's not a requirement. Oh, you're talking about your card stuff? Yeah. Your card stuff, I don't know. I mean, the card stuff is a little different, right? Because it's not really your data. Like pricing on cards is not really your data. I mean, your cards are your data, right? Or your cards are your property, and you could maintain a database about your cards. But the pricing of those cards is not really your data. But your financial data, it should be yours, right? Like it should be yours. It should be freely available and accessible. So it's kind of similar, but a little different. Yeah, but my problem is how the hell do I get that info to live update? Like I said, you can definitely, I would look at AppScript. I mean, I'm not sure how good you are with JavaScript and Google Sheets, but in my time, I've written some complex app scripts before, and app scripts can make HTTP requests. So if you can find a way to get that data through an API request, I would think you'd be able to I would think you'd be able to write an app script to do it. All right. I'm going to finish implementing this, and then I think I'm going to wrap up for the evening. Okay, what do we need to do? So we got our chirp request. Closing our body. Chirp is too long. We're sanitizing. Okay, so before we do this, we have a couple more steps, right? So now what we need to do, if we've got the sanitized body, we need to actually create it. So let's do created chirp equals s.database.create chirp. And we need the create chirp params. Which is a struct that has a body and a user ID. This should reference the ID of the user who created the chirp. Okay, right now we don't have a way to get the current user though. Oh, the request is gonna have. Okay, let's do that. Let's do this is gonna be user ID, which is going to be string. That. And then we need to probably validate that. So we need to say existing user error. And then we need to say s database.get user by ID r.context and create chirp request.user ID. I wonder if I can type this as I wonder if I can type this as a UUID and will it bind correctly? I kind of wonder, can I do this? Let's see. Let's see what happens. This might end up breaking everything, but okay, so body is going to be equal to clean body, and then existing equals existing user.id. Now we don't have a get user by ID yet, so we need to write that. So let's say name is get user by ID. It returns 1. Select ID created at updated at an email from users where ID equals placeholder 1. Okay, and then we can do SQL C generate. Now we should be able to go to models. We should be able to go to users, go back to main. Okay, so this is where it's a little weird because it's a string. We have to convert that. But honest to God, I'm good at this computer stuff as a bag of nails, so that's probably my biggest problem in my project. Yeah, I think you could do it, man. I think with some AI, sprinkle a little AI on it, you know, you'd be good. Yeah, I mean it's just software, right? I mean if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But you're probably not gonna lose anything by trying to give it a try, right? Let's see. User. Must parse. What does this do? What do you mean there's no information on it? Why is there no information on it? UUID parse. Invalid type. Go UUID parse from string. Yeah, it does have a parse method. Decodes S into a UUID or returns an error. And then is there a must parse? I thought I saw a must parse. No, there's no must parse. Just parse. Okay. So if that's the case, we will do this. We'll say request user ID. And we'll say if error, then we will write a header of bad request. And we will say something to the effect of invalid user ID. Invalid user ID. User ID must be valid UUID. Return. Okay. And then we need to pass that. If it does successfully parse, why are you complaining? Create chirp request dot user ID. Oh. Create chirp. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to update this in all these places. Okay, so if it can't find that user, that's a problem. So we should do error does not equal nil. Right header. I don't know if we should. I don't know. I think what we should do is we should just return another bad request, and we'll just return the same. We'll just return the same message here. Little bit of duplication there, but so be it. Let's fix that, huh? How about we don't have duplication there? We'll call this invalid user ID. Like that. And we'll just return that invalid user ID error. Do that same thing here. Wonderful. Okay, so if we do get to this point, now we have an existing user, and we can use that existing user here. We can pass the request context here along with the create params. This can hand back an error. If error does not equal nil, we'll return one of those very informative internal server response errors, you know, that everybody loves to get. They're usually not very helpful. And we will say we'll say write JSON response, pass the writer. I'm gonna change the name of this because it's not really a validation error anymore. I'm just gonna change it to API error. And we'll say failed to create chirp. I think I should let's put an emoji in there. Shrugging emoji. Super helpful. Super helpful. What every developer wants to get back in a response. Okay, and then we need to respond with all of the data. He wants us to respond with ID. And we don't have that defined on the response yet, so we need to respond with ID. JSON D. This is created at. This is updated at. Updated at. Body, and then the user ID. Like that. Let's see, it's not formatting. Why is it not formatting? Oh. Excuse me. So created at is going to be created at chirp, created at format, time.rfc that. Do the same thing. Change this to updated. Body, and then user ID. So user ID is going to be created chirp. No, don't do that. We will call the string method there. And this guy is going to be created chirp. Body. And let's make sure we're passing the clean body. Yes. Okay, someone's unhappy. Why are you unhappy? That's fine. Just go ahead and remove that. Who else is unhappy? You're unhappy. Why do you keep could not import UID, no required module provided? There we go. There we go. Hey, what's up, Suhas? Oh shit, my foot fell asleep. How's my favorite goblin doing? He's doing good, man. He's doing good. He's had a good week. Been on vacation. Got a new work laptop. Been making progress on boot.dev. Yeah, life's good, man. I'm healthy. Kids are healthy. Nothing to complain about over here. Got food in my pantry. Got money in my bank account. Life's good. Oh, we need to return a 201 too when we create the chirp. About the only thing that's a problem in my world is the current state of AI. That's about the only thing. Oh fuck, dude, my fucking foot fell asleep. Work laptop is a good deal. Yeah, I've had this will be my third one. We're supposed to rotate them every 3 years, I think. Ah, my foot fell asleep. And I just got my second one though. I've only had my second one for like a year, and it just died all of a sudden. I have no idea. It was a nice Lenovo Yoga laptop, and it just stopped working. So I had to go in and get a new one. The new one has 32 gigs of RAM though, so that's a win. The old one had 16. So I doubled my RAM. I don't think the processor in the new one is as good as the old one. It's kind of a lower end efficiency oriented processor, but I really only use my work laptop to remote into my dev machine at work. That's about the only thing I really do with it. So it's more of it doesn't really need to be that robust. Hack GPT. I'm not gonna hack ChatGPT. No thank you, sir. No thank you. Staying away from that one. Okay, this one should be created. AI is bad, save world. You know, it's kind of funny. Have you seen all the news? All the so like, I think it was OpenAI that announced, or they made some big press release about one of their models hacking Hugging Face. And then a couple weeks, I think it was like a week later, or maybe even a few days later, then Anthropic came out and said, wait a minute, our models also have hacked other companies. And then today, Meta released, it was either today or yesterday, Meta released something that was like, our model also hacked somebody else. And I'm just like, is this where we're at with the whole AI saga now? Now we have companies competing on the basis of them committing crimes as a way to market their products? Like, what? This is insane, man. What is happening? What is going on? I don't get it. I don't get it. It is a weird world we live in. I mean, think about that. Just think about that for a second. If you wanted to prove your bona fides as a hacker or ability to infiltrate systems, and you wrote up a big, large blog post and put it on your website and said, here's how I hacked the NSA, right? you'd probably be prosecuted. Bad things would probably happen to you. But yet these companies can get up in front of the world and say, this technology I created, it committed crimes. And we're all just supposed to be like, oh my goodness, how wonderful. I want access to that model. The world does not make sense, man. Why are there different rules for thee, but not for me, right? Like, I don't understand how that computes. Doesn't make any sense. But don't even get me started. Or I'll never shut up about it. Yo, marketing. Yeah. I don't know. It's money is what it is. It's money. Everyone's lying to you for money. Okay, let's do feature add support for creating users and chirps. What's up, Gravity Wolf? You're still here, man. Nice. Just make a corp and then go around hacking people and say it was the model that did it. Yeah, exactly. That's the lesson we all learned, right? That's the lesson we've all taken away. But the problem is that unless you're a company who has billions of dollars invested into it, right? You're still probably going to go to jail. You got to be too big to fail to be immune to the laws. We live in a world very much ruled by people who believe in rules for thee, not for me. And unfortunately, if you don't have a lot of money or a lot of power, you unfortunately have to abide by the rules. Those who have money and power do not. That is the lesson learned, unfortunately. All right, let's see where we ended the day. Did we level up at all today? We did not level up at all today, but I think we're pretty close. I think we're pretty close. Yeah. We just need another 2,000, 3,000 XP. Okay, that's it for me. I'm going to hang it up. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Thursday evening. I'll probably keep watching Succession or something. Probably write a little code while I watch my iPad. Have a good night, Gravity Wolf. Thank you for hanging out on Twitch and viewing my stream over there. I appreciate it. Kevin, thank you very much, man. I appreciate all the engagement, interaction, and chat. It was very enjoyable to talk about Plaid with you. I hope it goes well for you and your implementation of it. And hopefully I'll get back to using it at some point. So see you, man. Appreciate you. Bye, Suhas. Have a good day. Appreciate you stopping by the stream, man. All right, I'm out of here. You guys have a good day. Bye. See y'all.